Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ravished, a historical romance and movie review podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Donna.
Welcome to episode 2 of season 2. And happy fall, y'all. Weather has been gorgeous out here in the Midwest. I even got to go camping, and we had the best weather ever. It was so great.
Yeah, the pictures you sent made it seem like the ideal camping trip. I mean, our household just recovered from hand, foot, and mouth, so we stayed inside.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear y'all are doing better and feeling better. Y'all been through too much.
Yeah, I mean, the hits won't stop coming because hubby just broke his leg.
Oh my
Yay.
goodness.
But before we get into today's episode, I really wanted to share two things. One is sad, and the other one is exciting. So, polar opposites. Sad news, rest in peace to Matthew Perry, best known as Chandler on Friends. That show was a staple of my childhood and just have so many memories of it throughout my adult life as well. So, thank you for all the laughs.
Oh, yes. Chandler Bing. I'm so sad over this. I mean,
Yeah.
what a loss and way too soon, man. Um, he was genuine and he was hilarious and he'll be missed. Rest in peace, dear Matthew.
Yeah. I definitely shed a few tears. I'm like tearing up right now. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Ooh. Well, in other news, we have some exciting things to share with you.
do tell.
So, we have had several authors reach out to us and offer us some ARCs, which in the reading world are advanced reader copies of unreleased books. We have two so far that will be featured this season, and I've already finished one of them, and I can't wait to share it in episode 4.
Wow. Yes, we're excited to review these up and coming books by authors who took the time to reach out. And we appreciate it and feel so honored to read your works.
Yes.
So, today we're going to review one of the best selling romance books of 2022, Things We Never Got Over, written by Lucy Score.
Yes. Things we never got over. I decided to review this book because it's contemporary, aka out of my comfort zone. And I saw it had these rave reviews, and that was it. Like, it's one of the best selling books of 2022. Yes, please. And I just picked it.
But hey, can you take a minute to explain to our audience, for those who don't know, what contemporary means, please, Donna?
Of course. So, contemporary means the setting of the story is in modern times, like set in today's world with our technology and all the things we have going on. It's not way back in the past or super futuristic with things we don't even know what they do.
Okay, well, thank you for explaining that. And that's a pretty convincing argument on why you chose the book, though. It has to be amazing for so many people to buy it. And I read she was an instant number one New York Times best-selling author. So that's impressive.
Right? That's no small feat. And that's exactly what I expected as well. Like, this has got to be great.
So who is the author, Lucy Score? I've never heard of her.
I hadn't heard of her either before this book, which is actually the first in a trilogy called Knock 'em Out.
Knock 'em out, as in fighting?
Pretty much. There's a town called Knock 'em Out because they always used to solve problems there by boxing.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, so it's different. And I tried to do some research on Lucy Score, this, New York Times bestselling author, but there isn't much really out there. Lucy, I get it. Privacy is a luxury. She's married and has a quote, obnoxious cat. And that's all there was out there. That's all I was able to find.
Gee, not much. But I mean, that's understandable. She was like an instant number one New York Times bestselling author. So there isn't much because she's newer to the game, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you listeners the book synopsis so we can see what we're getting into here. Here we go. Bearded bad boy barber Knox prefers to live his life the way he takes his coffee, alone, unless you count his basset hound Waylon. Knox doesn't tolerate drama, even when it comes in the form of a stranded runaway bride. Naomi wasn't just running away from her wedding, she was riding to the rescue of her estranged twin to Knockemout, Virginia, a rough around the edges town where disputes are settled the old fashioned way, with fists and beer, usually in that order. Too bad for Naomi, her evil twin hasn't changed at all. After helping herself to Naomi's car and cash, Tina leaves her with something unexpected. The niece Naomi didn't even know she had. Now she's stuck in town with no car, no job, no plan, and no home with an 11-year-old going on 30 to take care of. There's a reason Knox doesn't do complications or high maintenance women, especially not the romantic ones. But since Naomi's life imploded right in front of him, the least he can do is help her out of her jam. And just as soon as she stops getting into new trouble, he can leave her alone and get back to his peaceful, solitary life. At least that's the plan, until the trouble turns to real danger. The end. So that was a lot to lay on the reader in the book description, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yes, girlfriend. I agree. There's, okay, let's go over it. A runaway bride, a bearded bad boy barber. What's up with that alliteration? There's an evil twin, a surprise kid in real danger. Woo! Just doing a lot. Okay. It felt like a soap opera while reading it, or being like, let me give you a boxing reference. Okay. It's being given a punch on the left cheek, a punch on the right, then an uppercut and another hit non stop. Very unrealistic in terms of how involved everyone is in other people's lives, and like how many crazy things are happening to people on a daily basis.
Yeah, for sure. Just that synopsis. I mean, I'll be honest and say it was hard to even vocalize it, like run on much.
So I randomly listened to our first episode of Ravish, and I'm getting the same exact vibe from this book as I did Lisa Kleypas's Then Came You. I had way too much, it was just nonstop drama, no time for the actual storyline. I I bought this book a couple of months ago and started it, and then I kept forgetting that I bought it for like weeks at a time because it was so hard to get into. Like, that's not normal for me. How do you start a book and forget you have it? I don't know. I felt like super, super tense reading it because it was so intense.
Yeah, about that first episode, Then Came You. I remember that awkward book, but I don't think I'd be able to read that one for the record. And I'll decide about this one soon.
I just want to say this is probably definitely a book Nick would start and end on page one.
Page point five.
Right. I also want to talk about the title here, Things We Never Got Over. So, like I said, I did not read the book synopsis before I bought it. So reading the title, I expected this book to be like a reunion for the characters. Maybe they were in love in the past and had a falling out over something, but it's really alluding to the fact that they each had messed up childhoods, and that's what caused misery as adults. Things we go through growing up can positively or negatively impact who we become and how we handle obstacles we encounter. I get that.
Yeah, it takes some gaining wisdom to move forward. I don't know, but sounds like they're a match made in heaven.
Yeah, you're ridiculous.
Really?
So, another thing. You like coffee, right?
I love it. I enjoy one strong 12-ounce cup of Starbucks, freshly ground beans with a lot of heavy cream every single morning.
Not
Mm.
my type of coffee, but I drink my coffee almost every single day and enjoy a good cup with sweetener. But this book described getting a cup of coffee like they were writing a college thesis. It was a cup of coffee, okay? I don't know. Maybe it really gets people pumping, or I don't know. I legit skipped what felt like paragraphs because it just was describing a cup of coffee and how incredible it was. I mean, it was even in the description about how Knox likes his life like he likes his coffee, like the first scene of the book in a coffee shop. I just, I don't know. I just didn't believe bad boy Knox and this other character who's described in like an overly masculine way but owns this coffee shop and makes the best cup of coffee ever. I didn't really like it. I don't know. Okay, sorry. I digress. I know I'm harping right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're definitely dogging, but it's deserving. So why spend pages talking about coffee? I mean, just call the book Coffee We Never Got Over,
That's
right?
hilarious. Yes. Yes.
Well, the bearded bad boy sounds pretty enticing though, right? So tell us about the characters.
I'm not super into facial hair except for Henry Cavill and Superman. Yep. And I'm not really into bad boys, so not very enticing over here. But first, we have Naomi. She's our main character. She's a twin to Tina. Now, Naomi is a goody two shoes, but she's really not, in my opinion. She is obsessed with being a pushover and trying to make up for her sister, who is just a weirdly awful scumbag of a person. Like, Naomi she just lets everyone walk all over her. And she's like also obsessed with coffee. I don't know why that was such a big part of the book, clearly from my earlier rant. But Naomi, she's the runaway bride who's trying to ride to the rescue of Tina, who called her and said she like urgently needs her. But Tina is actually manipulating Naomi to come there and give her money while abandoning her preteen daughter. What?
Whoa. That's bogus and probably not the best choice how to spend her time and energy, but it sounds like her niece is in good hands.
Yeah, I'm trying not to give too much away, but it was just a lot. And I don't mean to be insulting, but it was just ridiculous. And Naomi's actually in her mid 30s and she's just unlikable to me because she's so insecure in everything and it like comes across as kind of spineless. I
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine any of these scenarios actually happening in real life. But Naomi also constantly has sex with Knox, the main male character. It's not what you would expect from who the author made her into. Like, I don't know, doesn't go.
Yeah, I'm not picking up what she's putting down, but sounds like an immature set of twins all around. So I dislike as well.
Mm-hmm. Next, I'll tell you about Tina. Tina. So she's a lesser character in the book, kind of a background character, and she's, of course, the reason why Naomi is in Knock 'Em Out. She's an awful person. Her parents, the description of them, they were great parents, successful, provided a good, stable home for Naomi and Tina, but Tina just loves to do illegal things and cause hell.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person in Knock 'Em Out treats Naomi like trash when she first gets there because they think she's Tina. And it's every single person in town hates her. And that's just so weird to me. Like everybody hates you.
Yeah, a little dramatic, but also kind of like an exhausting storyline, you know? So, who's up next?
Next is Waylay. Yeah, you heard that right. Waylay. So this is the weirdest name I've ever seen, you know. Waylay is the daughter of Tina, who's abandoned to stay with Naomi because her mom skips town, you know. Poor kid who has a lot of emotional damage and abuse she's dealt with because of her awful mother. Not to mention having the name Waylay. Her mom named her that because she's like an inconvenience to her. And that's kind of what waylay means, you know, like a small inconvenience just until she can get to the next thing. And it's just strange and cruel, like insulting your baby who didn't ask to be here. I don't know. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't even know how to comment on that. I mean, this book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So next, there's our main male character, Knox. He and every other male in that town are described as these just drop dead gorgeous hunks. Every single man.
Hmm.
How is there a town where every single man is just incredible looking and single and has no kids? Where's it at?
Nowhere.
I know. He's actually like 42 or 43 and he's never had a real relationship. Weird. And he has so much emotional baggage and it's not something I see as wait, I'm sorry. His emotional baggage is not something you would like see as destroying his life and making him into this jerk he becomes. Like you didn't have it that bad, bro. Why are you
Mhm.
crying?
Right.
But he's constantly cursing at Naomi and everyone else and ordering people around. He's a toxic person in how he treats everyone supposedly out of the goodness of his heart, but really he needs major therapy. As you can
Hmm.
tell, I don't like him. This is not the man of our dreams, ladies, okay? Toxic masculinity at its finest. Like, I couldn't be with a man who cusses me out or cusses at me. No, that's a sign of weakness in a man to me. I don't know. There's like a ton of other characters in the book as well because it involves like the whole entire town. It's just a soap opera.
Sounds like it. And a place where every single guy is good looking, and then we have the main man heartthrob being a total douchebag.
Hmm.
Yikes. But you're dedicated for getting through this book because it's utterly unbelievable and should go in like sci-fi genre.
I mean, I read the reviews and I can't agree with them. I did not enjoy this book. I had to physically force myself to read it while I was like in the ER because I hurt my back and I was just cringing the whole time. You know, Knox is so rude and selfish. And
Hmm.
then Tina is an awful mother, daughter, human being. She's just awful. And it was not an escape or a happy place to be in that story. It also filled so much of the pages with sex this, sex that, orgasms everywhere, every 5 seconds, orgasms solve world hunger, orgasms bring world peace. It was so much.
Gross. Not my cup of tea. You know that, but definitely one of those books I coined years ago as a sex book. It sounds like for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't read this book since it's so vulgar and we have these characters who are pretty terrible.
Mm-hmm.
They're terrible people.
I feel like if I'm reading a book, I should at least want to be around the characters, like relate to them in a way or want to be their friend, maybe. But I had no urge to want to be around any of these people.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I feel like they're all unlikable and repulsive in a way, and I'd also want to feel a connection with the characters, you
Mm.
know? Um, but what did you like about this book, though? Like, there has to be something to recommend.
Well, I think Lucy Score can write. And obviously, being a best-selling author, she knows what audience she's appealing to. People are buying this. And I'm just not one of those fans of these types of characters. I get having a backstory and that people grow up in all different sorts of ways, but I just wasn't buying the backstory of these characters, turning them into who they are as adults.
Right, like she just wrote about a character and then they turn into something else. It didn't seem real. It's a little bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, would you recommend this book to anyone?
Uh, if you're into books that have characters who have more messed up lives than you and who cuss and have sex all the time, then I think you'll enjoy this book. The ending is, in my opinion, random and just like a lot of buildup for something that I just do not believe. Like it's so out in left field. This could never happen. But I'm not going to give the spoilers of what it is. But I'm sorry. I know I'm Debbie Downer over here.
No, you're being frank and authentic with your review, and I personally appreciate it because I mean, I feel the same. It's just not realistic, too much sexuality and disturbing behavior. It don't sit well with me, and that's my opinion. So, but maybe some of you listeners will be excited to read about this sexual drama. I mean, go for it. So, what do you rate this book out of 5 stars?
So Amazon rates this book 4.5 stars out of 5. And I think I give it 1.5 stars out of 5. It's quality writing, okay? It's not like crazy, but it's not my genre or taste. Do you think you would read it?
Well, first of all, I thought you were going to say 0, but 1.5, I believe that's the lowest review so far of
Ugh.
anything we've reviewed, which, that's something.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I just can't. I can't stomach all that dysfunction. Thanks anyway. But Donna, you're awesome for reading this book and giving an honest review. And I'm happy for the fact that we can have reviews like this too.
Hmm.
And I hope it helps in one way or another for our listeners to decide if they want to spend the time on it, especially since it's a New York Times bestseller. Save your money or enjoy the bumpy ride. Either way, great job, sis.
Thank you.
Welcome. Well, everyone, this wraps up our review of Things We Never Got Over. Thank you for joining us this week.
We'll be back in hopefully 2 weeks with another episode. Please remember to rate, write a review, and subscribe to Ravish on your favorite podcast platform.
Also, follow us on X and Instagram at Ravished Podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Bye.